and welcome to this very special episode. And tonight, joining me on this special broadcast is the whole team of Human. Yes, OTT is where the action is in these COVID times, and it's a new series that has hit. And we have the entire team here, and let me introduce to our viewers this evening the team present here. Vipul Shah, who's the producer and the co-director of this entire series. We also have Moses Singh, who's written the series and has co-directed it. We have Vishal Jethwa, who's coming into this serial with some shades of grey. Kirti Kulhari as a doctor. Well, yes, we've spent very, very close time with doctors over the last couple of years. So we understand where you're coming from, Kirti. But above all, let me also introduce to our viewers Shefali Shah. And who doesn't know Shefali Shah? Whether it's been on television in serials like Banegi Apni Baat or Bollywood big extravaganzas like Dil Dhadakne Do or Satya. Now in a new role, and इस रोल में शेड्स ऑफ ग्रे इतने ज़्यादा हैं कि आज शेफाली शाह ब्लैक ड्रेस में ही आ गई हैं. तो शेफाली, पूछना चाहती हूँ आपसे कि ये रोल इतना नेगेटिव, डज इट टेक अ लॉट फॉर एन एक्टर लाइक योरसेल्फ हु सो वर्सेटाइल, सो इंटेंस, टू डू अ नेगेटिव रोल जिसमें आपने एक कहानी है ऑफ ह्यूमन ट्रायल्स ऑफ ड्रग्स एंड वैक्सीनेशंस, और इन कोविड के दिनों में जिस तरह की ये कहानी है, आई थिंक बहुत से लोग घबरा भी गए होंगे कि गॉड क्या हो रहा है पीछे.
So there are a couple of things. One is that any kind of role I do, any project I do, I'm terrified. It takes a lot out of me. I am terrified because I keep feeling मुझे नहीं आता, अब मैं क्या करूँ? Director will say action and then I'll just stand there. One is that. Secondly, Gauri came without an instruction book here. So it was just, I mean, I really cannot even encapsulate how she got created. She's very disturbing. But also what happens with a character like this is that you can really fly. Because there's no real life context to this person. I mean, I don't know anybody like this. I don't want to know anybody like this. And also, there is no connection between her and me. So it's very exciting. Yes, very, very exhausting. बहुत consuming था. मतलब थक जाती थी with the way her mind worked, उसका दिमाग, उसका दिल किस तरह से चलता was beyond me. She started surprising me. But the more important question that you asked is about कि अब कोविड के दौरान is it something that we need to fear? ये I think Vipul and Moses will be able to answer this better क्योंकि ये script कोविड के पहले लिखी गई. Of course, in the last 2 years, I mean, हम लोगों का इतना close interaction रहा है with the medical world, not keeping the script aside. लेकिन उसके अलावा भी, उसके पहले भी, it's a very pertinent thing that drug trials होते थे. So I don't think it is about COVID per se. It was about a very important thing which was never talked about, let's say.
Very true. Vipul, before I come to you, let me ask Moses Singh, because Moses, you come from a family that's been into drugs, pharmaceuticals, testing, and all the works. Was that something in your growing up years that you picked up, that you wanted to sort of, in your creative moments, toy around with because you sort of knew something from the inside, or was this just a creative idea that came to you? How did you conceive Human, the script of it, and how did you get on to directing? How did it all work out for you?
You know, the credit for the idea of the concept of human drug trials only goes to Vipul sir, because he was the one who thought of it. Though I have come from a pharma background, I do come from a pharma background, and it's always been there. The chatter of pharma has always been there in the background of my life. I was never ever interested in it. I was always interested in doing films. So when in 2009, Vipul sir called me to his office, he actually gave me a script to read, which was a feature film script, but set around the world of human drug trials. And he had been intrigued and interested in the whole concept of human drug trials for quite a few years already. Then had got this script done by a whole bunch of other writers. So I read the script and I found the script interesting, but I thought that we could do a lot more with human drug trials and do something else around this very unique concept. So I went back to him and I said that I would like to develop a whole fresh idea around human drug trials. And then I roped in my frequent collaborator, Ishani Banerjee, who I write with. And together we created the world of Human, of the show Human. So the idea for human drug trials was never mine. It was always Vipul sir's.
So Vipul, आप बताएं, the concept was yours and you've been sort of working on this. It's been at the back of your mind since 2009, as Moses just pointed out. So what took it so long? Is it a lengthy story to say, therefore suited to the OTT platform? You can bring out the nuances of the characters and the entire plot around it. Was it a real life kind of incident that triggered this off? How did it all really happen in your own mind before it came out on celluloid?
So the year was 2019. Moses just said it, 2009.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's just a numerological error. But I had read an article about human drug trials going totally wrong in Africa and thousands of people dying because of that. और वो जब मैंने पढ़ा तो मुझे लगा कि ये सिचुएशन इंडिया में कैसे हैंडल होती है, हाउ डज इट हैपन इन इंडिया, वी मस्ट नो. और मैंने उसके ऊपर पढ़ना शुरू किया, लोगों से मिलना शुरू किया और मुझे पता चला कि ये बहुत बहुत बड़ा कॉम्प्लेक्स सिस्टम है और ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक भी है जिसके बारे में बात करनी चाहिए. ये करीब 2015-16 में मैंने पढ़ा था एंड देन वी स्टार्टेड राइटिंग. एक फिल्म की तरह हमने लिखना शुरू किया. 2.5-3 साल लिखा, 28 ड्राफ्ट भी किए, पर हमें लगने लगा कि ये फिल्म का सब्जेक्ट नहीं है, ये उससे बड़ा है. ये 2 घंटे में नरेटिव खत्म नहीं हो पाएगा अच्छे से. We will not be able to cover the entire scope of the subject. And that's when I met Moses and I gave it to him and I said, relook at it completely fresh. और आप एक नए नजरिए से इसको देखिए. And that's how we made it. And honestly, when it was almost 3 years as a film and then 3 years as a show. And now when it came out, तो एक सबसे बड़ा तो डर ये था कि कहीं हमारी टाइमिंग गलत तो नहीं हो गई, because now in the middle of the pandemic and we're going to talk about one doctor being this really bad person, whereas doctors have been so amazing for last 2 years. They've been, the warriors. But I think the way people have received the show and the kind of success it has got and the feedback that we've got on the show, that kind of was extremely happy. We all are over the moon. और सबसे बड़ी वजह ये है कि लोगों को इस सब्जेक्ट के बारे में बात हुई, ये बहुत अमेजिंग लग रहा है. People are so connected to the subject and the idea.
Is it easy to deal with a subject as intense as this, जिसमें इतना डेप्थ में जाना पड़ता है, एक narrative भी बनाना पड़ता है. You have to sort of build a story and bring in a lot of negative, villainous kind of thoughts that are going on, like the central character Gauri's doing. Is it easy to do than commercial cinema? वो choice आपने कैसे की?
My background is from theatre, so this kind of subject is not a new thing for me. But yes, when I started making films, I kind of went more towards the commercial bent. And so when I got the opportunity of this subject, that मैं तो पहले फिल्म ही बनाना चाहता था इस सब्जेक्ट पे, बट जब हमने ये शो भी करना तय किया तो एज अ टीम मैं, मोजेस, ईशानी और हमारे जो 2 यंग राइटर्स थे, बट लार्जली विद मोजेस हमारी अंडरस्टैंडिंग ये थी कि वी विल बी बोल्ड, वी आर गोइंग टू स्पीक द ट्रूथ, वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू गेट स्केयर्ड ऑफ सेइंग द ट्रूथ, and we are just going to make a very honest show, because this is a subject which requires tremendous amount of honesty and a certain boldness in you to go ahead and make it. And I must say my platform Disney Hotstar was they need to be congratulated for backing us, because बहुत सारे लोग शायद ऐसे शो का ये थीम या ये सब्जेक्ट सुन के शायद डर जाते, but they supported us all the way through.
I also want to get in Vishal and Kirti. Kirti, to you first. जब आपको ये रोल ऑफर हुआ, was it daunting or were you so convinced with the script? How did it all work for you in your mind and heart? Because ये creativity और ये जो acting का है, ये सिर्फ दिमाग से होता है या उसमें दिल पूरा डालना पड़ता है? How does it work?
So I remember Vipul connecting with me on this, script, and we had like a 5 minutes conversation on what the basic idea is. And I think that itself kind of excited me. Secondly, for me, the idea that Shefali was playing Gauri Nath was rather so exciting, and it just added to the excitement I had towards the script, from that small conversation that me and Vipul had. And then I remember I was leaving for Lucknow and I spoke to Vipul from the airport and I said, please send me the script. It just sounds something so exciting. I've never heard of something like this. And, you are doing it. The script sounds interesting. There's also Shefali in this. So I want to read it immediately. And I read 5 episodes at a stretch. And I think I was just... I think my heart kind of knew that I want to take this up in the 5 minutes conversation I had with Vipul. I mean, of course, I had to wait for everything else to fall in place. But talking about, whether it's a decision that your heart makes or it's a thing coming from the mind. So I think the first decision comes from your heart. It's your gut feeling, it's that instinct you get whether you want to go into this or you don't want to go into this. So that was very much in place as far as human is concerned. And I think honestly that's all I kind of go by. Everything else may or may not fall in place, but this really, really fell in place for me. And as you mentioned, that the creative process, I think, I believe is a process more of the heart. It's a process less of your mind.
Yeah. So the question, Kirti, I also want to ask you is, Vipul, the main driver of this entire show, director, producer, wife is the lead actor. Was that daunting?
Not at all, Navika. In fact, that's not how I look at things. For me, I'm telling you, it's rather very exciting to have a name in front of you as an actor who challenges you, who is amazing at their craft. And मुझे उसी में मजा आता है. I think, and it's not just now. I think I'm very secure with my craft, and I only take this. मैं actually चाहती हूँ मेरे सामने बेहतर से बेहतर actors आएं ताकि I can up my game, you know what I mean, in a very positive way. So there was no question of me being intimidated or feeling daunted by any of this. I think, again, going back to the same point, that it was rather exciting, and it is. In fact, I keep telling Shefali also, and I told Vipul also, that one of the big reasons why I said yes to Human is also because Shefali was in it, and I think I'm so glad that we did this together, and we are both celebrating just the idea of how two women are leading the show, and it's spread like wildfire, which none of us had kind of seen it coming. So we are, apart from the success of the show per se, we are celebrating this as well. It's like paths are being made, are being laid out for other females to kind of, they're just doors are being opened, and I think that's the biggest victory for me personally.
In another interview, I read that you said this was possibly the most difficult role that you've done. Is it just Gauri, Nath and the character that was difficult, or was it difficult because you had two directors who were directing you, and does one get any reprieve from a director who comes from home with you and then gives you directions, something I don't know how many women like to take directions from their husbands. So how did that work for you, the character and getting into the skin of the character and then taking orders from the husband and Moses by the side? Was it difficult to balance?
As an actor, it's not been an easy one. Gauri Nath has not been an easy one. Also, I'll tell you, when the script was written, she was written like a lioness. And I read it, I had some references in mind, we discussed it, and then after reading it a couple of times, I asked for a meeting with Moses and Vipul, and I said, listen guys, I have different approach to play this. And they were like, okay, after all these conversations, I was like, yeah, I don't want to play her the way you've written it. I want to play her, if you've written her like a lioness, I want to play her like a deer. And I just thought it would be so exciting to have a mind which is so dark and warped and convoluted in a physical form which is fragile and demure and vulnerable. And luckily for me, both of them agreed with me. They supported and accepted it, and we all knew it was a risk. It was a risk. Because had I played her the way she is written, it would have been a safe formula. But I'm glad we took that chance, and I have to give it to both of them because I'm an actor. I'm crazy in my head. I want to take risks. I want to do stuff. I mean, the way it just kind of drives me. But, they accepted it, and I'm glad where we are. Also, one more thing is, when you listen to Gauri, I mean, a lot of people ask me, did somebody else dub for you? So as an actor, one of your strengths is your voice. And it's identifiable. And when you decide to break it, you're taking a chance. The way she talks, the way her voice is, the way she sounds, the rhythm, the pattern, the pace is totally different from whatever I have done or who I am. So it does take some time. A lot of people reacted saying, the first 2 episodes were disturbing because we didn't know where she was going. We didn't know why she's pretending like this. But, in my mind, I was thinking, well, that's how you create an entire character, right? It's not just that it carries a trace of me. I don't even know if I answered the question. I just got a train. I'm sorry.
I want to just jump in and say one thing over here because I've worked with Vipul sir and Shefali now for 3 years almost. And so all the way from starting off as the writer, then one of the directors, the showrunner on the show with Vipul sir, all of those roles. And I have never ever seen their husband-wife dynamic play out in front of me ever. It's just like two people coming to work, doing their thing, and maybe they go back to the same home afterwards, but you don't even realize that. I've never ever seen it play out, ever. Just wanted to throw that in there.
What you're saying, let me decode it for you, that Vipul is not the boss on the sets. Shefali is. And at home, Vipul,
Vipul is not the boss. Period.
I think, if you ask me, I think the bosses of their home are their children. Really. And their dogs.
Yeah,
and their dogs.
I totally agree.
I think...
don't give Vipul alibis.
No.
Let's hear it from him.
No, I think the best way is to surrender and just let things play out. I think that way you get the best. But for me, honestly, what was most important is that for us, all of us, Shefali and Kirti are the 2 pillars of the show, and Vishal was the 3rd pillar, but Vishal is a boy, and Shefali and Kirti were the 2 female pillars of the show. And for me personally, it was very important that Kirti never feels that husband wife hai, to am I going to get some kind of a raw treatment? And I'm glad that she has never felt it that way. But also on direction, it was very important that me and Moses were aligned. So when we were talking to the actors, whether it was, and Moses has a very different approach as a director, and I have a very different approach as a director, but the instructions or the explanations or the directions that were going to every actor for every scene, I mean, if you can replace me from my scene, and Moses would say the same thing. We did workshops as a director, sat down together and approached the whole show that how we will bring our two styles as one style, and when people will see the episodes, they should not know who is the director of this episode. It should look like one director's work, and I think that to me, as a co-director with Moses, I think that was our biggest achievement, so to say, that when people see the show, they don't see two different directors coming from totally two different styles. They see one
True.
unified work.
It has to flow from one to the other. No jump starts and jump cuts in between. Yeah, very important. When you are making a series like that. But the surprise package and Vishal, let me ask you, surprise package, and how do you feel about critics writing about your acting and saying that your Manju was, chota packet with bada dhamaka?
I feel extremely happy when people praise my work. So it happened even in Mardani, and it happened here also. And Sone Pe Suhaga was के मैं इतने ब्यूटीफुल और इतने ग्रेट एक्सपीरियंस लोगों के साथ काम करने के बाद भी मेरा काम निखर के आया, ये ही अपने आप में एक बहुत बड़ी खुशी की बात थी और एक अचीवमेंट की बात थी. आई रियली फील सो ब्लेस्ड, आई रियली फील सो ग्रेटफुल कि मेरा काम लोगों को पसंद आता है. बिकॉज बट मैं उन लोगों को पसंद आया उससे पहले हमेशा ये सोचता हूँ मेरे प्रोड्यूसर, डायरेक्टर और मेरे कास्टिंग डायरेक्टर को मेरा काम पसंद आया, क्योंकि उन तीनों लोगों ने मुझ पे भरोसा किया होता है. और मेरी हमेशा ये कोशिश रहती है कि एटलीस्ट मैं अपने काम से उनकी एक्सपेक्टेशन को सेटिस्फाई कर दूं. सो ये हुआ और लोगों का प्यार मिला. सो आई एम सो ग्लैड.
Shefali, what next from here on? Delhi crime. You've done OTT platform before. You've got films coming up. Are we going to see a season 2 of Human? How are things going to go forward from here as far as your future projects are concerned? Again, women-oriented roles and intense character?
Well, I don't know about Women. That's something that Vipul, Moses and Hotstar will tell us. We're really hoping there's season 2. All of us are. But that's not for me to, I have no idea. So if you get to know about it before, please let me. As far as the other projects I'm doing, honestly, I haven't worked as much as I did last year. I did 6 projects, and I'm finally doing the work I've always aspired to do. I'm playing leads and parallel leads, and just some beautiful scripts, wonderful directors, and very exciting characters. Very, very exciting characters. Again, different. I don't like using the word different, but it excites me because it's something I haven't done before. So I have Darlings with Alia. I have Dr. G, which is an ensemble cast. It's not the lead. I like the script. It's sensitive. It's funny, and then there is Jalsa, directed by Suresh Trivedi, and it's got Vidya. And then there is Delhi Crime 2. And then there is 3 of Us, which is directed by Avinash Arun. And I'm just touched with it. I mean, what else can I say? Thank God.
Well, great going, and there's nothing, as they say, as sweet as success. And with the rave reviews coming in, I'm sure each one of you is feeling the elation and the fulfillment that a project like this and a subject like this can bring up. It's like you said, Vipul, at the beginning of the show, it's an issue that in this society we need to discussed. It should be out there, debated and looked at, because some things cannot any further be brushed under the carpet. So kudos to you for bringing up a subject and making it into an engaging story, a series like this one. And yes, Shefali, considering that we are in the news business, we'll continue to find out when Humans 2 is going to come up. We'll keep our sources out for that and our antennas up for that one. And in the meanwhile, as soon as we wrap this show, you must of course tell me who your designer for your saris is, because I have a penchant for saris, and your saris in Human are something we can chat about right after this show. So thank you so very much, Moses, Vipul, Shefali, Kirti and Vishal, for joining me on this very special show. Wish you all the success, and let's hope it keeps it rolling, the creative juices continue to flow, and we see many more future projects coming from your stable. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Navika. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.